I know you'll be covering this probably in the workshop, but with suits, is there any kind of like specific guidelines with those? Like, because I wore a silver suit last time, and I don't know if that affected anything, but.
Best to chase black or navy and don't put any funky colors.
Yeah, black, navy, or dark gray. That's probably your safest bet.
See, I have a black one. I brought it with me the other day, but I wouldn't spend money on that gray suit because it looked nice. I thought it would work.
It'll still work at some point, and it doesn't necessarily mean it didn't work for you.
Well, yeah,
There's lots of different reasons.
So you're not getting an internship just because you wear a
So, no, but that's not what I meant by it didn't work. But
It makes him stand out, though.
But the fall career fair can be, well, this one's going to be kind of overwhelming too, because it's usually like 125, and I think we're up to almost 180 now. So, but I did bring a list of who's coming. I kind of highlighted some of the bigger names for you guys.
Is Goodyear coming?
Goodyear.
they were there last time.
The Bale wants you to come again.
They're not on this one, no.
So they got everyone.
Amazon?
Amazon's coming.
But they don't
Edmund,
hire.
you're
They hire
computer
chemical-
science. You want everything.
He's chemical people.
Okay.
Everyone wants.
Get a drink, if you can just sit on the floor.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
There's no problem.
Don't drink it outside.
What are you doing?
Just chug it. Wait, where's your water bottle though, Nate?
Down here on the floor. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah, good job. I'm proud of you. You did something right for once.
All right, you're live, so whenever you want to start.
Good. Give it about 4 more minutes,
Okay.
and then,
I don't know if I'm classified as a sophomore or a junior.
Actually, I'm skipping you.
Just like unemployed.
Unemployed.
Without internship.
That's a great. I hate you so much.
I just want to have a co-op for the next 8 semesters and just do all my classes online.
That's not, especially with your field.
co-ops are awesome, though. They pay really well.
Better than internships do?
It's the same. Really?
Yeah,
I-
for sure. Some of the ones I've seen, they've gotten paid pretty high. Like how
Because I've gotten my offer for an internship and that was pretty high.
Hey, how's it going?
How much do engineering co-ops pay?
Yeah, that would be a better question for Ms. Bashir, because that's primarily most of what she puts folks in is from engineering. But we'd have to talk to her. It's usually a stipend for that semester, but every company is a little bit different. The ones I have seen, I was surprised at how much they do pay. And something that's important to remember with an internship or a co-op.
Hello, how are you?
That's that's yours.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You can sign in one of the sheets.
Okay, thank you.
But if they invest in you and you do a good job, they're really not going to want to let that investment go to another company or a competitor. So,
Yeah.
it is super beneficial. And again, if it doesn't work out, you still have a great skill set under your belt that can help you command and demand more as you move forward.
The
So,
whole 3 months of a whole company job under
Yes.
your belt.
I've heard really good things. They'll pay for relocation for you while you're out there. I've heard situations
If they really
where
like you.
they get you. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I was talking to someone who also had an internship at Goodyear and it was supposed to be in Ohio. And when she started, they wanted to relocate her to Virginia, so they paid to relocate her again, and they paid for her full housing in full instead of how it was before. Because they gave a stipend, like a smaller stipend for the housing in Goodyear and their headquarters, but when they moved her again, they like bid it 100% like housing.
Just pay for the whole package.
Yeah.
That's nice. You don't have to sign a lease. They just do it all for you. I've had some conversations with folks where they have 8, 9 offers, and they want us to help them choose which offer to take. So I think all of you are in a very good position. Everybody still engineering? Since we're in McNair, I figured that's who we were trying to. Well, hey, that's good. I mean, we're going to talk about some of the companies that come again at the end. I'll show you guys that just walked in. We're going to try to pull it up so you can see how to research or look up who's coming if you haven't already looked at that. And you said it was chemical, and who else do we have?
Mechanical.
Last time I looked it up, mechanical had 96 companies. Which
Computer
is
science probably the most, right?
massive. I have to check that one. I haven't clicked that one yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be equally as high. Absolutely. So it would be a good event. You know, guys, tomorrow night we've got Otis Elevator coming. What's tonight? Wednesday night.
Monday night.
So who was the smart one to make this night workshop the day after the Super Bowl? That would be me. We're all like half asleep and tired. But Wednesday night we have Otis Elevator coming. They're going to be over at ACB at 6. They're going to give you guys dinner, buy you guys dinner. Primarily targeting this group right here, all engineering, but primarily the mechanical folks. So guys, if you have a chance, it's an interview prep workshop. So it's actual recruiters who recruit engineers telling you what they think and what they ask and why. So it's a really good event. Like I said, you get free food, and they're going to tell you about open jobs they have as well. So it's kind of like a workshop / meetup.
So the 6 to 7:30 thing.
Yeah, 6 to 7:30. I think that email's coming from Kiara Stevenson. She's the one that's coordinating that, but definitely come. We did Vanguard last week. That one was great. We had
Is that a
about
sign
7
up on Aggie Link or is it just a show up?
You can do either. It'd be nice if you signed up so we could tell the company how much pizza to order if they decide to go pizza or sub route. So. Then they were gonna do subs, and then they got confused. We were like, just
Just do pizza.
you can't go wrong with pizza.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with pizza. Guys, we're gonna get started because it's 6. It's late. I heard somebody say they're tired. I'm tired with you. This is an important workshop. So this is our first workshop that we've done, at least since I've been here, streaming live. So there are folks listening to us from their computers. We just want to say good evening. Thanks for coming out today. We have about 8 or 9 people here in our workshop session with us here today. We wanted to test run and pilot this process because it's a really important topic. We have, as of when I left the office, about 176 companies coming to recruit. Again, usually this event is much smaller. Our maximum is about 125. We've been given additional space, so we've increased it by about 50 companies than what we've had in the past. So if you're looking for internships, if you're looking for employment opportunities, they'll have all of the set above, including the co-ops that we were talking about before the session started recording. So please, I'm assuming because you're here that you're planning on attending the career fair, but just to remind you, career fair is February 22nd. So that's actually going to be on Thursday. And since everyone in the room is engineers, that will be on engineering week as well. So there'll be lots of other opportunities for you guys to look into and visit as well. Lots of companies on campus that week recruiting you guys, meeting with you, and helping you to kind of grow as individuals and applicants. So take advantage of that. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. I have a lot to go over, so if there's anything I don't want to forget, it's get there early. I get you have classes, but please, if you can get there at 9 a.m., try to get there at 9 a.m. Remember, they're human beings, not robots, right? And even though they're paid to meet 2,000 to 3,000 people at a time, like these career fairs can sometimes attract, and they do here at A&T, we usually have about 2,000, I think, come to this event, maybe 1,800. So it's not quite as busy as it is in fall, where if you guys have been to fall, we just had back in September, that we attracted about 3,000 people. So hopefully there won't be as many people, but I don't know about you, you don't have to raise your hands, or for those folks watching on a computer, about 25% of our population was classified as introverted. And believe it or not, I'm extremely introverted. I just didn't pick the right career, so something like this exhausts me. As much as I absolutely love working with you guys, I like working with you guys one-on-one. When it comes to group sessions, this career fair that's coming up, I'm actually just as terrified as some of you are, because that's literally 5 to 6 hours of small talk I have to do with employers that if I small talk correctly will hopefully give you guys an interview, right? And that's very stressful for me, right? I'm comfortable building relationships, I'm comfortable talking to people, but when I have to go up and sell myself to someone, that's something that's kind of a nightmare to me, right? And I see some heads shaking. I'm sure there's some heads shaking watching this right now or watching it after the fact, because this session will be recorded. And guys, I gotta tell you, as an introvert, I'm also competitive, right? And here's the thing, I got a mortgage and a 3-year-old I love more than anything on the planet. You guys have your own loves, you guys have your own concerns. I don't know about y'all, but again, I say this in all my workshops, Bill Gates is not my uncle. So I didn't graduate high school and my mystery uncle Bill Gates called me and say, hey Dan Grigg, I'm gonna pay your college tuition and everything you need, everything's covered by me, right? Most of us have to borrow, or we have to work with someone that's gonna help us get through that process. My point is that when this is over, we all have to pay somebody back in some way, right? And I want to make sure that you guys are able to do that, because for federal loans, we have 6 months to start paying it. Private loans could be even faster. And guys, we can't adjust the amount of money we pay. If we don't pay it, we can't get credit. If we can't get credit, it's not exactly the easiest life in a capitalist society, right? Where you have to have credit to buy a home, a car, to get a credit card. So guys, this event, if you're an introvert or an extrovert, can be really stressful, but again, at the end of the day, this is my job, right? This is the culmination of all the stuff I've been doing over the last 4 years, 3 years, however long it's been you've been here. And this is my opportunity to either start adding to my resume so that I have experience and I feel confident when I get to interviews that are going to pay my bills, Or I'm almost done, good for you, and now the test comes, right? Where am I going? Am I going to make the money I need to sustain myself and live the life I want? Raise the hands in the room. Anybody sick of being broke? Yeah. I got 2 up. And I have a master's and I'm broke. Yes! It's awesome. Capitalist society, all that credit, right? So guys, this is a competition for you. This is an opportunity to stand out. But I tell you that because too many of us go to an event like a career fair and we do the old-fashioned, what are you hiring for? What are you hiring for? What do you got? Oh, let me get you squishy balls. Let me get 2 of those squishy balls. I got a buddy back in the dorm, they love squishy balls too. Hey, those are really cool pens. Let me get 4 of those pens. And guys, students get really frustrated. And this session isn't just for engineers, it's for all students, for folks that are watching at home or at your computers. Guys, this career fair is meant for everyone, whether you're an engineer, a psychology major, or a JOMC journalism student. If you approach my table and simply look at me and say, what do you have for me? I'm immediately turned off. I'm not going to tell you how much money they simply pay just for a table and 2 chairs. But if I told you, you'd be shocked, right? And that's for the spring career fair event. The fall event is exponentially more expensive and costs a lot more just beyond that table and the way they advertise it and the way they meet you. Guys, you're highly sought after. But here's the thing. I'm paying the fees I pay. I'm paying to stay in a hotel, to rent the car, to stay for 2 or 3 days, to market my company to the campus. I'm spending thousands of dollars. If you come up to my table and simply say, what do you got for me? Statistically, someone else is going to come up right behind you and know exactly what my company does, but more importantly, know what it is you've done that brings value to me. And that's the catch, guys. We're not competitive enough. We see this as an assignment where I just need the 2-0 and go or the 3-0 and go. I just need the quick B so I can keep moving. Guys, this is you making money. And I don't know about you, but I like to make money, right? I don't really like to work for it, but I do work for it, right? So guys, what we're going to talk about tonight is how to succeed in this process, right? So making sure that if I spend that time coming to career fair, if I'm going to miss class, if I'm going to be an introvert and burn myself out, I at least want to leave with something positive. So guys, the learning objectives for this evening, we're going to learn out, find an internship, and starting your career is actually reliant on a job fair. When I started in career services, I was lucky, and I'm telling you, this wire is definitely going to have me falling down in 2 seconds. When I started back in career services back in 2006, 2007, it was a recession. And the thing people complained about the most was people who come to career fairs and nobody had jobs, right? And it was really hard as a career counselor because I'd have to sit them down and kind of explain to them how the real world works. They were trapped in 1986 where they thought I could mail a resume to a company and someone is going to see value in that resume and call me, even though that resume has nothing to do with the company and I'm simply just listing 2 or 3 pages worth of skills that I have. Now we know, guys, resumes are not 2-3 pages anymore unless I'm advanced and I have a lot of experience. And these folks would come to a career fair and do exactly what I just told you not to do. What do you have for me? Hey, I had class, so I had to wear my jeans because I had class. Really? Because I just met 3 other people that also told me they had class and they're in a suit. You couldn't put a suit in the car and pull a Superman and run to the bathroom and change? Right? So guys, learning how this internship process works, you can't just simply apply online anymore. Jobs are found by networking. Jobs are found by saying, hey, 3,000 people have applied to this same job, but by meeting you at a career fair, I set your info aside, I still make you apply online, we're going to talk about that in a minute, and then I pull your information from my database. Before, statistically, I probably wouldn't see you, and now, because I met you and I like what I saw at the career fair, I'm now pulling you out of that pile and setting up an interview for you. So, networking really does work. I hate networking, absolutely hate it. When I have to go to a conference, I stress. When they say, what's the thing you don't like about anything you want to talk about to do an icebreaker at the conference, I tell people I hate networking, right? I'm an introvert. I don't like networking. But guys, networking brings so many resources just from what I do when I go to these conferences. When I come out of my shell and I talk to other career counselors, we find so many different ideas and better ways to serve you if we simply talk about it. So imagine what can happen when you can talk to someone about a job. So we're going to see how a career fair is relevant, right? Unlike what people said during the recession. We're going to review survey results. So I'm a kind of guy where I like to know from the source. Everything we talk about from our office, we acquire from employer feedback. And this is a perfect example of that. So I did a survey, and we're going to talk about how many people responded, and I'm going to dispel some myths for you guys about coming to a career fair. Last but not least, guys, we're going to identify 5 steps to help you be successful at the career fair, based on feedback we got from those survey results. So, guys, to wake you up here for a minute, I'm going to do a quick scenario. Some of you may have already seen this, has been to my workshops before, but it's my favorite. So that is correct. That is a 1970s/1980s creepy car salesperson. So imagine this. I'm going to give you a scenario. You tell me, all you got to do is listen and tell me, would you buy the car, yes or no, and tell me why. So I'm a single dad. I got 5 kids, and I'm driving my station wagon down 40, it blows up. So the next morning I get a ride with my 5 kids, and I go down to this guy right here, and I say, hey, 80s car salesman, I need a car that can provide safety, size, and budget. And I got the 5 kids right behind me crying and screaming on what they want, right? Now the car salesperson goes, yeah, no problem. By the way, his suit's super wrinkled. He has a spaghetti sauce stain right here. And we start walking around. He shows me all these cars that I clearly don't want, right? He shows me, you guys seen a smart car?
Yeah.
One of those little bugs, you know, those little beetle bugs that are coming back in different ways every year. Then he shows me the midlife crisis car because he sees I'm getting a little bit older now, and he sees a little bit of gray right there, and he goes, hey, check out this convertible, right? And I just told you I want safety, size, and budget, and when I, just to be nice to him, say, you know what, I'll look at the convertible. What's the safety features for my 5 kids on that car? He goes, man, I don't know, I'm nervous, and throws a big manual at me and tells me to look it up. Would you buy a car from this man?
No.
Why? Yell it out.
Unorganized.
You can't advertise the cars.
He's not giving me,
Unorganized, unprofessional.
not giving me information that I want.
Yeah, that's probably the worst,
I
right?
know.
Oh my God, I just gave you 3 words, and I got little Joey hitting me saying he's starving, and little Mary kicking me saying, where's our toy? And you know I have 5 kids, and I told you safety, size, and budget, and what do you show me?
The opposite.
Opposite. So somebody else said unprofessional. What was unprofessional about him?
I swear.
Well,
Spaghetti
his
sauce.
appearance, his behavior, his lack of care.
Spaghetti sauce stain was your favorite?
yeah, I was going for the jacket. Wow,
Let me ask you another question. Has anybody had to buy a car?
Yeah.
It's not cheap, is it?
No.
Even like a used beat up thing, you're like, what? How much was that again? No, I don't want a new car. They go, no, that's the used car price. You go, oh. Guys, I'm about to drop $20,000, and you want me to buy into you, even though you have a spaghetti sauce stain on your shirt, and your shirt's wrinkled or your jacket's wrinkled. But you know what? I'm not that kind of guy. I can look past that. So then I ask you safety, size, and budget. And here's the thing. He showed me cars, right? I was going to buy a car, but I didn't want those cars, right? Because I had specific needs. I get that you're a mechanical engineer, but no one cares. No one cares that you're a chemical engineer and your hopes and dreams are to be a pharmacist or start making the new product line that's going to be the greatest thing on the planet. Guys, nobody cares about that. What I care about as a recruiter, because I have to meet 2,000 people today, is the safety, size, and budget you have related to my company. I don't want a car. I want a station wagon or a minivan that I'll be embarrassed to drive so that I can have my 5 kids drive around safely. If you were smart and you listened to what I said or went to the website to review in advance what they want, you would already know that you would point out that this car right here has a steel plate right across where the kids sit, so that's that extra level of protection in case someone sideswipes me. Or there's all these different safety features, or there's a TV that flips down to keep the kids entertained on long drives. You see where I'm going with this? Guys, you can't just assume that a car is a car is a car, because they're not. You can't just assume that a mechanical engineer is a mechanical engineer, because you know they're not. You know better than I do that they're not. And if you have a chance, when I show you the website, if you look at the different companies, they make different things and they do it in different ways. And one company might have you very hands-on, where one company you feel like a manager, right? And if you have the opportunity to read these job descriptions and these mission statements, you'll realize that I can't use the same boring pitch with everybody. That's the mistake I see people make at career fairs. They come up with an elevator pitch, which we're going to talk about, and it's the most bland, boring thing that they say to everybody. I'm a recruiter. I do this for a living. I read people. That's what I do. Most of these folks have psychology backgrounds, either human resources or psychology or both. They get a master's degree in human resource management and they go out to be recruiters. Guys, when I meet you, I'm professionally reading you. And when you give me a boring pitch, I bore it. And again, I'm looking for a diamond in the rough. So, guys, I know it's a weird analogy, but it's really not. Like, people think, okay, a nurse is a nurse is a nurse. They're not. Absolutely not. I've worked in medical. with recruiting and helping them find GTCC nurses for the last 7 years, Cone Health is completely different than Forsyth Hospital through Noah Bond. Completely different the way they do things. Completely different the way they ask their nurses to do different things. And if you read the job description, you're going to see the differences and you're able to sell me on what it is I want to know. Look, everyone in the room has an example where someone just walked up to a table and said, what do you got for me, and got hired. What we're going to talk about tonight is, in a competitive environment, we're looking for a diamond in the rough, and this is what I always say. I never base my life's decisions on an exception to a rule. I always have somebody, oh, Uncle Joey got a job right out the gate at Boeing, and they paid him, $117,000 a year, full benefits. Guys, that might not be a lie. Probably is, but we'll say, benefit of doubt that it's true. Here's the thing, that was an exception to the rule. So what we're going to talk about tonight is feedback from our employers and not making decisions when you come. So guys, why network? Remember, I hate networking just as much as most of you do. So a whole lot of heads shake your heads when we talked about being introverted and having to talk to companies. Here's an example from San Francisco State. They looked at a job that they had posted. 1,000 people actually pulled up the job and looked at it. 100 of those 1,000 people decided, hey, I'm going to click and I'm going to apply for this job. What's interesting on this statistic is that 75 were ruled out by the system. Why? Because they thought a car is a car is a car, or a mechanical engineer is a mechanical engineer. They made a mistake of not reviewing the job description or the company profile. They made a really nice resume with one of their instructors or that Dan Grigg guy down at Office of Career Services, and they made a nice document and they use it with everybody. Remember, guys, it has to change every time because clients are different that you're applying for. So 75 of the 100 are automatically booted from my system. My computer science person will be charged with managing that kind of system where he says, what has to be on this application? I say it, you program it, and when it doesn't come, it goes into la la land, right? And I only get the ones that are relevant to me, right? Guys, it's technology. Hey, even 5 years ago, we had teams of people like this that would just go through resumes with scales and would mark who we're going to interview based on how they review my job description and how you're related to the company and the position. Now a computer does it, and I filled out an application for an hour and a half, click submit, and my phone vibrate, and I pull out my phone, and I think it's we got your application, and it's thanks for applying, you don't meet the qualifications, have a good day. You know how crazy that makes a person when you fill out one of those applications for an hour and a half, and it immediately boots you out? And it's because I didn't read the job description. I assumed I knew what they want from a career counselor. Guys, trust me, I don't make that mistake anymore because my time is money, and I know your time definitely is money, right? You guys probably have 9 things you're thinking about that's due by tomorrow morning after this session, right? So guys, please, don't work hard, work smart. So you want to hopefully be one of the 25, oh no, what have I done? Technology, one of the 25 of those 100 that applied. I still can't interview 25 people, so I interview 4 to 6 people on a really good day, realistically probably 3, right? And then how many do I end up hiring? You're the engineers talking about differential equations before I came in this room, but you guys can do the math. Only 1 out of 1,000 is hired. I'm telling you right now, statistically, it's impossible to sit at my computer at home, tap away, and apply to 500 jobs and hope that someone's going to see me. Guys, it just doesn't work. And in addition to that, no matter how marketable your program is, you're still entry level. You're still up against other entry level people, plus folks that have a little bit of experience that want to shift now and move on to a new company. Guys, no matter how good you are, there's always some sort of hindrance, right? Whether my program is super marketable and I know where to look, or I have a super marketable program, but the places I'm looking, I'm competing against people with just enough experience where they beat me out. Guys, networking beats all that. What I love about interviewing, and I hope Otis Elevator talks about this at their workshop Wednesday night. By the way, it's at 6 o'clock. Don't forget, guys, in ACB room 107, they're going to provide pizza, and they're going to talk about interviewing, right? And what I love about interviewing is that it's subjective. It's actually what I hate about interviewing. When I interview folks, I like it. Because here's the thing, people go, and I've had this debate with people on committees I've worked at other schools, and they go, no, it should be completely objective. We should only hire the person with the most experience and skills. And I go, so then why are you pulling me out of work for an entire day when we have resumes that already tells me who has the most experience and skills? Guys, it's a lie, it's a myth. When you come to an interview at a career fair, I'm sizing you up to see how you fit me as your boss, right? I'm sizing you up to see how you meet my culture. Everybody looks great on paper when I get the paper worked out the right way, and I meet with career services or a good faculty member until they come in. Anybody meet someone where they looked great on paper, and then you meet them and you're like, whoa, they know nothing. right? I looked at this professor's credentials. They have some amazing experience. And then you get in the classroom, has anybody had a teacher where you thought it was going to be an amazing experience and they couldn't teach? I mean, they probably made a whole new product line that you envy them for, and then you sit down and go, I have no idea what they're talking about. Why? Because they can't teach, right? Or they're just not understanding how to convey that information. So guys, I use these events, God bless you, to find out who I'm looking for. Remember, networking allows me to stand out. Here's the thing, I'm just at home, hoping because I have a marketable major that someone's going to see me, so I'm applying online. You only apply online, guys. The problem is that I can't find you. So this is the recruiter's motto. 20% of my time, I just post a job. So if it's Dan Griggs home ownership business, then I post a job and I hope people apply and see it. 20% of their time is going on something like AggieLink, right? So it's a database like at Indeed.com. You guys, for you, is AggieLink. And then 60% of my time is actually going out and finding people. And what I love about Recruiter Motto is I don't want the best that apply. I want the best. I'm paid a lot of money to be a corporate recruiter. Not me. I remember I'm broke. But corporate recruiters get paid really well. And then they have bonuses. And there's so many different incentives that come with it. We're actually doing a workshop at the end of February where I'm going to have a company recruiter come and tell you why they do the things they do so you can actually hear it for the first time and believe it. Look, they get paid a lot and they deserve it because they send them all over the world to find the right people so they can be the next best company. If you're at your house typing away on a computer with online applications, I can't find you. I can't. And the easiest way for me to find you at a school like A&T is at a career fair like we're going to have on February 22nd. So as introverted as you might be or as exhausting as an extrovert it might be to come to an event like this, guys, you got to be at this kind of event. If you're not at it, I can't find you. And 60% of my time is going out to try to find the best, right? So, guys, that's a recruiter motto. So if you haven't been convinced on why to attend a career fair, I'm pretty sure that I can't convince you, right? So, guys, we're going to look at some of the employer results of companies that are actually coming to this event. So what we're going to look at over the next couple slides, actually all the remaining slides, is actual feedback from companies that are coming to this career fair. Real quick, because I didn't do it in the beginning, some of the bigger names that are coming, so again, we're up to about 176 companies. Companies like Allscripts, definitely looking for computer science, Amazon, BMW, CIA, Cisco Systems, Cummins, Denny's, Duke Energy, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Epps Transportation System, FEMA, Federal Reserve Bank of Richmond, Frito-Lay, Guilford County Schools, Honda Air, Honda North America, Ohio, each having their own table. Honeywell, Hormel Foods, IBM, Land O'Lakes, Liberty Hardware, Lockheed Martin, Michelin, Microsoft, NSA, Norfolk, Peace Corps, Pepsi, Procter & Gamble, Sam's Club, Sherwin-Williams, Smithfield Foods, Spectrum, TE Connectivity, Teach for America, Texas Instruments, the Boeing Company, the Dow Company, Toyota. We have U.S. Secret Service, U.S. Department of State. We have United States Postal Service, Vanguard, Visa, Volvo, Waffle House, and XPO Logistics. Guys, that's just a sample of names that some of our students recognize and asked me to highlight for this session. 176 employers. Guys, I work with some really good friends from GTCC, and we're close. We're actually conducting a career fair together with UNCG for our education students in March. Their big career fair, they had 91 employers come to their fall event. Our big career fair, we had 220 companies, right? So guys, do the math. You know you're sought after, but you have to understand that when you have 3,000 people up against you, no matter how sought after you are, there will always be someone trying to take your food out of your mouth, right? Always trying to take that job from you. So, hey, I got 3 internships, and it sounds like a lot, but you got 3,000 people, maybe a quarter of them with the same major you do, especially during engineering week for the folks that are in our room. By the way, folks watching at home or on your computers, don't forget, guys, criminal justice, I can name at least 10 companies on this list that are coming. Police departments, state departments, poli-science, same thing out there, folks. Journalism, plenty of positions on here that have mentioned a need for communications in all majors. All majors are represented at this career fair. This is your opportunity to come, sell yourself to a human being, and what we're going to talk about is if that human being doesn't have an initial focus on you, do a good job and ask how you can connect with someone from their company that can help you in the future. So I know it's cliche and we hear it, but guys, that's networking. And the students that do find the jobs are the students that hustle,
use this type of event to meet new people, and use LinkedIn and other resources to kind of connect with them. So, guys, we have 47 companies respond, so about 38% of the 124 that I surveyed at that time. 72% of respondents gave me their permission to say, you can link my company name with what I said, right? And I always have to be careful with that. Some companies don't have the right to do that type of thing. But some examples of companies that did respond: AT&T, Procter & Gamble, Vanguard, Union Pacific, Smithfield Foods, Greensboro Police Department, Teach for America, and Visa. Every major you can imagine is on a spectrum right there, and we've gotten responses from those companies. So here's some myths that people say when I ask them, are you coming to the career fair? Some of you in this room, or some of you watching, might have a GPA below a 3.0. I'm sorry, every session I ask, is anybody sick of hearing you gotta have a 3.0, you just gotta have a 3.0 and you gotta get involved? Guys, look, it's important. It is. But there's other factors that go into a hiring decision. And what we're gonna see on another slide is, although yes, having a 3.0 and above is an advantage for you, by no means does that mean you can't find a job at a career fair like the one we have on February 22nd. Another one folks say is that no one is hiring students from my major. Misconception with this career fair is that it's an engineering career fair. And it's not necessarily an engineering career fair. In fact, in no way is it. If you have a moment to take a look at a list of the employers coming, there's very good equal distribution. It just happens to fall on a week when we do engineering activities along with it, right? So, guys, we are on a rotation. That is not a decision on our part. There are, 16 schools in the UNC system. We have to come together and pick dates so that we can move forward, and we're not making these employers compete with you guys. So keep in mind that date was chosen not just because it's near engineering week, but also because we're working with the UNC system schedule as well. So guys, there are all majors, and we're going to look at that at the very end so I can show you how to look them up. And then last but not least, anybody gets frustrated when they say go apply online, and you're like, felt like that went well, and now you're literally just telling me to go apply online. And it kind of drives you crazy because you were hoping that interaction would wipe away that horribleness of having to go back to your office or wherever and fill out a very long-winded application so that you can be interviewed. But guys, if I say go apply online, it doesn't mean I'm throwing you away. What you're going to see tonight is that you legally have to do that in order for me to move forward with you. So guys, let's look at myth number one. So low GPAs. Competitively, simply applying online actually lowers my chance of getting an interview. So students say, I don't want to come to a career fair because I have a low GPA or a lower GPA than some of my other classmates. I met a student the other day and she complained because she only had a 3.2. Man, I wish I only had a 3.2 when I was in college, right? That's a big accomplishment. By the way, she's working part-time. She's in like 3 clubs, and she's doing a whole lot of leadership things while she's maintaining that 3.2 GPA. Remember, there's more to a story than just a GPA. Your job is to sell me that at the career fair. Again, I know it feels dirty, but that's your money, right? You've got to think about, okay, yeah, I'm doing great here, but now I've got to look at the picture. And that's why a resume is really important. When I meet a student, the first thing I do is I put all the dots together. And I say, you realize you're doing this, 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 and this while maintaining this and getting this award, right? And when I say that to students, it really connects home to them on how great they really are, even if their GPA isn't as competitive as they would like, right? So guys, when you get to an interview or a career fair, it's never, because literally the student sat down when I looked at her resume, and the first thing she said to me is, my GPA is a lot lower than my classmates. Really, that's how you want to start the sales pitch? I've been to interviews where I thought I'd be honest, and I'd start off my interview with, I know I don't have as much experience as some of the other applicants. Guess what comes in their mind right away?
Not qualified.
He's not qualified. Whoa, he started off telling me about how he's not qualified. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? So guys, making sure that when we come to a career fair or an interview, we're always positive. But here's the thing, if I'm applying online and I have a low GPA, then I can't even get past that online blocker. If you guys have a chance to go on Aggie Link, if you notice when you pull up a job description, almost every job description has contact information to the recruiter that put it up for a reason. Because say I have a 2.9 cumulative GPA, and the job description says I have to have a 3.0. I go meet my academic advisor, and I find out my program GPA is a 3.4. Now I meet the requirements. Problem is that when I click online, I can't apply, right? Because it won't allow me to use my program GPA. Guys, a career fair, that feature on Aggie Link gives you a chance to come up to me with an unofficial transcript and say, hey, I had a chance to get on your company's website. I noticed that you want a 3.0 cumulative GPA. Unfortunately at this time, and I do have a plan to get it repaired, I have a 2.9 cumulative GPA. But I've highlighted all of my mechanical engineering classes or all of my communication classes that I know brings value to your company. And as you can see, all of those classes were A's or B's at the lowest, right? My program GPA is a 3.4 GPA. I just wanted to come down. I'm really excited about your new product line for blah, 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 blah. I want to just introduce myself, give you a copy of my resume. What can I do to get past that to get an interview, right? And look, some of them are going to say nothing. But a lot of them are going to say, tell me more, right? Here's your chance to sell me. Here's the thing, on an online application, no one cares. And there's no way to get through to a human being, right? You guys are in school, so you might not have applied as much online. Guys, it gets really frustrating because sometimes you read a question and go, what does that mean? Does it mean this or that? Because that's a big difference on whether or not I get an interview. Good luck doing this because no one's ever going to pick it up. They say they have chats where you click here and chat and ask a question. You're going to be sitting there for 20 minutes hoping someone answers your question the way you need it to. Right, guys? This is an opportunity to go to a human being and say, I've already done my homework. These are my 3 questions. What can I do to get an interview from your company? Right? So, guys, that's how a career fair works. It's not give me a job. It's let me sell you on what I have that can bring value to you based on my research. By the way, I had a couple quick questions if you don't mind answering for me. These things confuse me about your online app. So guys, common job search quote that people used to say to me during the recession, if I had a quarter for every time someone during the recession when we were trying to help people get back to work at JobLink would say to me, if I could just get in front of a human being, I can convince them to give me a job. I mean, it broke my heart when I would hear people say that because no one would want to come to a career fair. And you have all these great people that don't look good on paper, but can bring a whole lot of value to a company, and they couldn't get in front of a human being. Guys, you had 220 companies in fall and 176 companies in 2 weeks. Every one of those companies is an opportunity to say, give me 5 minutes to sell myself to you, right? Just give me a minute to let me show you why I am the diamond in the rough at this event, and I should do next day interviews. By the way, most companies do next day interviews, right? So it's scary because you're like, oh, I want an interview. And they're like, no problem, I'll see you at 8 tomorrow. And you're like, that's like 12 hours away. Well, you got homework to do, right? Now I've got to go home, and now I have a new challenge of preparing for an interview and ready for that process. So don't forget to go to Otis Elevator's workshop on Wednesday night, and they'll fill you in on how to interview. So guys, over half of all the respondents, 53%, said that they've hired applicants in the past that have not met their GPA requirements. So over half of the companies, theoretically, coming to this career fair are willing to be sold on bringing you in for an interview even though you don't meet the GPA requirements on their website. That's pretty good odds to me when I talk to these folks that have less than a 3.0 and think no one will ever care, right? So guys, please take advantage of this. This is an opportunity to get your 5 minutes and explain that my GPA does not define me. Guys, this is a quote from AT&T. Students that fall slightly below our 3.0 GPA requirement may still have an opportunity if they are able to prove their skill sets by the work that they have completed in and outside of the classroom. Student engagement and leadership. Also, I encourage students to consider sharing their story of why they don't have that 3.0 or higher at this time. In some cases, it's because they declared one major, realized that major wasn't the right fit for them, had 1 or 2 bad classes and decided to switch majors, or had a non-major course that was a bit difficult. So what I hated the most about college was the first 2 years of college. I don't know if anybody else is like that. I mean, music appreciation made me want to die. I don't care, all right? I want poli-science. You want engineering. Somebody out there wants journalism. What does music have to do with this? Guys, first of all, it makes us well-rounded. We've all heard that, right? And it does. But in reality, they're really hard to stay motivated because you want to make money and be an engineer or a journalist or someone in a PR-related field, and I'm taking a class that I'm not excited about. Actually, when you look at problems people have with their transcripts, I was an academic advisor for 7 years. It's always that. It's always world religions, some obsolete math class that they never got really into and could never figure out why it had anything to do with their major, right? And guys, that's an opportunity to go to AT&T and say, listen, it was a world religions class or two like that where I was new to college, I wasn't excited, I just want to build things. And look, I made some big mistakes. I'm working with my academic advisor right now on how I can retake those classes to fix my GPA. Unfortunately, I cannot do that for another semester or two based on my curriculum for engineering. But again, I brought down a copy of my transcript today. I want you to see that my program GPA is above a 3.0, and I've highlighted some relevant classes based on researching your company that I know you need that I've excelled in, right? So guys, think about it from that perspective. but Kim Rakers is great. She's the lead recruiter for AT&T here at A&T. And if she's saying that, guys, there is hope on the horizon because they're number 7 on the Fortune 500 company. So guys, dispelling myths. No one attending these career fairs is looking for my major. I wrote there, and it's kind of blunt, but it's true. Correct. If you walk up to my table and say, what do you have for my major? I'm going to be incredibly turned off. Look, there's always a couple companies that are okay to talk to you, and you know nothing about their company. Your job is to tell me how you fit. Again, don't assume because my major is in demand like computer science that I'm going to be versatile and everyone's going to be jumping on me. You know your field is completely diversified, right? There's so many different ways you can go with a topic like that. So guys, how does your training fit my company? Again, I'm not saying you can't find a job if you walk up to me and say, what do you have for me? But what I'm saying is probably if 2,000 people come to this event, 1,600 of them are going to do that. And if you're smart, you're going to come up to me and you're going to sell me on what it is that you have that brings value to me. You can't do that unless you research the company, right? Just like my car analogy. You can't sell me a car with my 5 kids if you don't know that I want something that's safe, reliable, and cheap. Right? You're going to show me the convertible because that's your biggest commission and you're hoping you can make big money off me. So, guys, 54 companies either indicated all majors recruited or cited no major preference. That means that if I say all majors, I am open to all majors. The mistake students make is they get frustrated and say, well, I walked up to Dan's home health service, it said all majors, and I walked up to him and said, so how does political science fit your company? Well, I'm sorry, but I paid all this money for you to tell me how you fit all majors, right? AT&T, I had the recruiter from the fall fair. Man, she blew me away. She is a graduate of A&T. She got a social work degree. So you wonder how she's making more money with a bachelor's degree as a recruiter working in a call center at AT&T with a social work degree than I am with a master's in the field that I trained for, right? And she walked up at our career fair back in like 2002, went up to AT&T and said, I got on your website, I noticed that you're looking for call center reps, a call center supervisor. Listen, I have to admit, I did not go to A&T to work in a call center. That is not what I thought I wanted to do. I'm a social work major, but more I looked at your job description, I noticed you need someone that can calm down upset customers. I noticed that you need someone that can bring that team in when they feel down from working with upset customers and motivate them to meet their daily quotas. I don't have experience working in a call center, but these are the things I learned from my program that I believe can bring value to AT&T. And now she sat on a panel and told that exact story last November, and again is making more than the guy with the master's degree, right? Good for her. For anyone that walked in late, I love talking about how broke I am. I'm broke. So guys, 43% of survey respondents wanted to meet a non-STEM major, meaning they're open to it, right? So for those of you that aren't pursuing something in science, technology, engineering, or mechanics, guys, there's hope on the horizon. All of these companies like Procter & Gamble, yes, they need engineers. They need a whole lot of people to make that process work. How about you, future engineers? Would you like to get paid?
Yeah.
Do engineers pay you? No. Do you guys like the lights on when you're working on your stuff? Do you guys like your computers fixed when you're working on your stuff when you don't have the time to do it? Guys, all these massive companies have so many different needs. Yeah, I might not be here at A&T today specifically looking for a communications major, but if you blow me away, here's the thing. I get bonuses as a recruiter. I also get referrals. Anybody buy something where you get the service, it goes great, and they go, hey, if you refer your buddy, I'll give you $500. Apartment complexes do it all the time. They'll be glad to give you $150 because you're bringing all that lease and all that money in each time. Guys, when I go back to the office, I go, hey, Dan, I don't need a communications major, but I know you do. Here's the thing. Here, you got to meet this guy. He's on my LinkedIn. I'm going to introduce you to. Now you owe me. So when you go up north to Rutgers University in New Jersey, when you come across engineers, even though you're looking for communications, make sure you get a couple for me, right? Because this is how it works. It's called networking. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. So guys, survey examples of folks that responded on this one. BMW, Land O'Lakes, Smithfield Foods, Vanguard, and again, Teach for America. So guys, U.S. Department of State, Bureau of Diplomatic Security, said advice to non-STEM majors out there. Guys, don't assume that you need to have a certain background or practical experience in order to be competitive for a job or a career with their company. We just had CIA come, and they look for everybody. So again, if CIA is looking for everyone, don't be the one to go up to CIA and go, hey, I heard you're looking for anyone. What do you got for me? Go up to CIA, knowing everybody else is going to do that, and say, hey, this is how I think a social work major fits the CIA. And give me your pitch. Here's the thing. Here's the worst thing that can happen. I go, thanks. Have a good day. Right? But that's the same thing I say in my interview workshops. Look, you're not going to get a job. You're going to have multiple interviews where you leave and you're going to be like, I don't understand what happened. Here's the thing. I've had multiple interviews where I leave and go, why did I not tell them I have a master's degree? Hey, Excel was the most important part of this job. Maybe I should have talked about my certification in Microsoft Excel. Guys, you leave interviews and you hit yourself on the head and go, I totally blew that. But there's sometimes you leave an interview and you blew them away. Look, you're not going to get the job. Here's the thing. Uncle Billy was in the applicant pool. You didn't know about it. I already had an applicant. Legally, I had to interview 3 people. So if I leave and I know I brought it, at least I knew I brought it and I can keep moving forward and I can use that same experience when I move on to the next one. Guys, a career fair there's no difference. You have this one chance to talk to the CIA that's hiring psychology majors. How are you going to do it? Give me a job or tell me on why you could bring value to my organization. So, guys, thinking about that, employer suggestions, no one attending these career fairs is looking for my major again. So, guys, remember, be the diamond in the rough. Remember, I don't come to a career fair to find average people. I come to find people that want me. It is dating 101, right? I'm not very good at dating, but I'm good at finding a job, and I can tell you, I want to be wanted just like you want to want somebody, right? So know the company. Make them feel a value because that's going to make them interested in you. Guys, career fairs are not always about jobs. It's meeting the right people that can introduce you to someone that can help you. So Teach for America, I love their quote, follow up. The recruiter you speak with will remember you and share more opportunities. Hey, I don't have something for you, but my partner in crime right down the hall does. I'm going to make that referral and set this up for you. So guys, Teach for America is a great organization. They'll be at our career fair. So guys, the last but not least, all I'm ever told is go apply online. This is crazy. 100% of the 47 respondents said, if I tell you to go apply online, I am not kicking you out of my life. I'm not saying that you're not going to move on. What I'm saying is I'm not going to talk to you unless an online application is on file. Yes, I get it. Some companies are not nice. And the second you walk up, they go, hey, nice to meet you, thanks. We don't take resumes. Here's a general card, go apply online. And they're just talking to people as they do that type of thing. Most companies, though, guys, if you have a conversation for a minute and I say go apply online, I've had students say it was all over. I'm never going to get a job. It was a waste of my time. I used to think that. Like, why are you making me apply online? I just met you. You just said you like me. Why am I going to do a 2-hour application when I have assignments that are due and I have exams coming up, right? So, guys, remember, most companies will not legally move forward without your application on file. Use the career fair to stand out. Again, 3,000 people apply for this mechanical engineering job. My goal is not the job. My goal is for you to say, hey, remember me, pull me out of those 3,000 and give me an interview. What I love about A&T that I've never seen at other career fairs, and I've been to a lot of them, is the next day interviews. This is a really nice setup. And by the way, if you don't get a next day interview, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get a job. It just simply means either the company isn't doing them, like IBM. IBM doesn't do next day interviews. In fact, they do it a very, very different process, right? So don't assume because I didn't get an interview the next day that it's dead. Make sure you follow up. If I give you a card, even if you got an interview the next day or not, you connect with them on LinkedIn, you ask them for some advice and keep that relationship fresh as you move forward. So again, 100% said you got to do it. Charles Schwab said that we are required by federal law for all interested persons to submit an application online. And then they said to be considered for any in capital role at our company. Any CEO. If I'm hiring a CEO, thank you, great job. Go put the online application in so we can move forward in the process. Guys, Kimberly Horn said all interested candidates must apply online to be considered. We require this for employment law, regulatory reasons. Right, guys? It stops nepotism. It stops all kinds of discrimination and other things that can happen. People have said to us in career services, why don't we have more of majors represented here? That would mean I'd have to turn off the registration system and dictate who can come meet you. Guys, first come, first serve protects the integrity of this organization. It protects the integrity of these companies, right? You have to have that application online because now I'm breaking rules. And we talk about that in our resume workshop, guys. This is why in the very beginning of this slideshow, those 75 people of 100 got weeded out. You didn't read my job description. I got my computer science genius to program it so I didn't have to see them. Here's the thing. If I make one mistake and go, you know what? I like him. He's my buddy's buddy. I'm going to bring him in for an interview. He doesn't meet the minimum requirements. Simply bringing him in and his classmate hearing about it, who knew he was a lot more qualified, has legal grounds to sue my company simply for an interview, not even a job offer, right? So guys, they're going to be really careful about what they do. So again, for those that are watching at home, everyone in the room, if I make you do an online application, it is not the end of the world. But if you just apply online and don't follow up somehow, yes, I think it'll be harder for you to make an impact, right? So guys, making sure that we're almost done, and then we'll answer questions, and if I can, I'll pull up the website so you can see who's coming. Guys, research, so steps to success, I can't emphasize this enough. 98% of our survey respondents said they strongly or moderately agree that students should know something about their company before you approach their table. That's everybody. I think one company didn't care, right? So 60% of respondents stated that from their experience working career fairs, students that know nothing about their company are less likely to get a follow-up interview. Yeah, it's not as high, still 60%, right? Almost 3/4 of the companies coming to this event said you're more likely to get an interview if you tell me something about me and you're selling yourself to my company. So again, don't be mediocre, guys. Research the companies. We make it as easy as possible for you. We give you their website, we give you a link to the jobs they're applying for, and a company bio of what they've got. Hey, I just trained a guy before I came over here. I would have my notebook, just like I would for an interview, and if I had 15 companies that I knew were really good prospects, each page would be a page of notes, right? Something about the company, something I liked about the job description that I want to talk to them about today, some questions about the company and where I could go within this position, and I go up to them and I give them their pitch based on that. The line is great. Your line is your best friend, because this line, when everybody's hot and miserable, everybody when they come to a career fair in line is doing what? Yeah, they're doing stuff, and they're trying to pass the time, or they're talking to each other about whatever. Don't talk to me. You're my buddy, but not today. Because we're in the same major, you're dead to me. I need to get this job, but I love you. They're called frenemies, right? And today you were my frenemy. Don't talk to me, best friend. I'm going to look at my notes. So when I get up there, I'm not using the same boring, hi, my name is Dan Grigg. I work in career service for the last 10 years. What else do I do? Well, I do assessments and blah, blah, blah. And 90% of what I said, the company goes, we don't do any of that. Who cares? And by the way, I can tell he just said that to everybody over there. If you come up to me and you mention that you honestly didn't think about the company in the beginning, so you had a chance to research folks looking for mechanical engineers. Hey, and I noticed on your company website, you guys create this, that you're moving in this direction and you use this technology to do it. That's probably one of the favorite things I'm doing right now here at A&T. I've got a transcript to show that I've got 3 classes related to that. Hey, I just want to come down and introduce myself. I'm really interested in this position. What do I got to do to move forward and get an interview? What would be your advice, right? And then you guys start a conversation. Make it conversational, right? Don't make it so mundane and boring that because remember, they're human beings and they get bored as well. SNME said, we are looking for motivated students whose career interests align with their company, blah, blah, blah. During your job search and throughout the interview process, you are typically presenting your best self. If you lack preparation to research the companies attending this fair, how motivated and proactive are you going to be as an employee? It's an interesting thought process, right? I'm telling you, they're very psychological, right? They say, I don't care if they know anything about my company. Yes, they do. This is a scathing paragraph about why you need to know about their company. Someone who approaches me at a career fair and has visited our website, knows a little bit about what we do, and can tell me why they are interested in working for our company will immediately grab my attention and will impress me more than someone with a high GPA and experience in the field. Wow. It's also important for you as a job seeker. While we are meeting students and determining if they are the right fit for our openings, this is also your opportunity to determine the company and position that's the right fit for you. Don't waste that opportunity by not being prepared. They let you cheat. You don't come up to my table and go, hey, put that notebook down. No notebooks. This is a test. Put away that notebook. I don't want you looking at notes while you're talking to me. I would love it. If I were a recruiter and I saw you had a whole page on me and you had questions and things you didn't want to forget about, I would, again, that shows a full-fledged preparation, and that tells me the kind of employer you're going to be when I hire you. That means you're going to ask questions. That means you're really going to delve into your training. That means that you're going to bring your all to learn your new position. So guys, elevator pitch. Again, let's not make it generic. And I know that's the way people have been trained in the past, and they still are. Guys, every pitch has to be a little different. Look, come up with your commonalities, things you don't want them to forget. That each company had, remember, I didn't want to buy a car. I wanted to buy a car that was safe for me and my 5 kids, right? So Tell me what it is, your safety, size, and budget related to this company. Tell them what it is you have that you know they're looking for. So guys, think about the strengths, the skills, the successes. Think about weaknesses. Remember, if you get next day interviews, I'm going to ask you, that question I hate the most is, tell me a time you screwed up, Dan. What happened? I'm like, it always just gets me, you know? And I'm like, now you want me to tell you the time I messed up. How do I make myself a star? So guys, you got to know this stuff. You got to know what time you messed up. You got to know why you stink at something. Remember, if I ask you a weakness, don't give me a strength. You're going to make me pull my hair out. If I ask you what's a weakness and you say perfectionist, you are going to make me go crazy because I hear that 75 times a day, right? I asked you a very simple question, and everyone in the room at least is in engineering or STEM in some way. I heard someone use the words differential equations. I know you're geniuses. I know it, right? So if I ask you what's your weakness and you give me a strength, I have a major concern, right? Because you can get through differential equations with an A, but you can't simply answer a question, right? So remember, it's not directly related to the job. So if it's journalism, don't say you're bad at editing stories, right? And then try to come out of that being a hero because you're not, right? So guys, if I'm a nurse, don't say you hate people. If I'm an engineer, don't say I'm a really bad problem solver. I don't know. I'm just, I hit a wall and I just kind of break down and I don't want to move forward, I mean, I don't understand why it just doesn't work the first time. Hey, guess who says that? Me. Guess who's not smart enough to be an engineer? Me, right? Guys, I hate putting things together because I hit one hurdle and I'm like, I'm done with this, right? That's why I'm a career counselor and I'm okay with that. So guys, don't try to be a hero and say you hate people if you're going to be a nurse or a teacher and then try to flip the script. Guys, to know this stuff, because sometimes in an interview, I'll pull you aside. I had tables at GTech. We give a company a second table, and they literally pull you right over here and interview you on the spot. We had a company, every year I give him a free table because he would hire just so many people. He was awesome. But they grill you right there in front of all your competition. Trust me. We had a guy that was a teacher at GTech. He actually came and helped this summer here at A&T. He's a programming major, graduated here from A&T, I think back in 2006. And he came to A&T's career fair, and the guy goes, okay, so it mentions here on your resume that you're proficient in writing code, blah, 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 that Dan doesn't understand. He goes, yes, sir. And he goes, great. So the guy gets this little scrap of paper and starts to write, and then goes, so you're the one that's proficient. Finish that for me. Continue the rest of that code for me and show you can do it. This is at a career fair, right? This isn't the job. This isn't the interview where I fly you to Dallas and we have pretty white boards and I give you breakfast and orange juice. This is all of your competition staring at you and him calling you out on whether or not you know how to do what you said you can do. If you think I'm not going to ask you a question about engineering, great. Well, you're the best you say you're the best in the business. So let me give you an example. If this were to go wrong, tell me best in the business, what would you do to fix it, right? So guys, you can sell yourselves and be confident. Just know that you're going to have to back it, right? So make sure you're going to have to back it. I used to give the example of GTCC, which is funny because I would use A&T all the time and end up leaving there and coming to work here. And I would say, I'm an expert in resume. I've been writing resumes for 10 years. Sometimes I dream about doing them. I do so many in a day. And I still don't have proficient in writing resumes on my resume because there's always going to be some sort of way to write a resume out there that I haven't heard of, and they're going to go, doesn't sound so proficient to me. Because proficient means you know everything, right? You got it down. So guys, be careful about the wording. Be careful about how you sell yourself. It's called humble confidence. I don't want you to be scared of it, but at the same time, I want you to be a little bit humble, right? And use words that don't say that you are an expert, because right now you're still a student. So guys, resumes, yes. It says yes or no. It's going to answer the question, yes. 80% of companies expect you to give them a resume. Look, the other 20% are these federal contractors in many cases. By taking your resume, you are an applicant and you might not meet the standards for us to keep our contract. So keep that in mind. If I can't take a resume, it is not to be offensive. Guys, this is not a resume session. It's all to a lot of employers after the fall career fair. The reason why you don't want a 2-pager is because I scan it and it gets lost. If it is 2 pages for some reason, don't put page 2 on the back of the paper and save the planet, because again, I'm scanning it and it gets lost. So guys, it has to be a 1-pager for them because most of these companies have their equipment and they are scanning your documents. So guys, just for that reason alone, let's make sure it's a 1-pager. Remember, I have 2,000 people staring at me. I'm not going to turn a page. I'm not going to read a paragraph. I'm not going to try to find information. You got to show me in bullets and know where it is, because I can say, hey, I'm a little bit confused. I'm breaking a rule. I can't put that there. You got to know where it is, because I'm going to say, okay, where's that on the resume? You got to be able to show me what it is I'm looking for. So know your resume inside and out. 84% of respondents stated that they strongly or moderately agree students should have a resume that lists skills, training, and experience in line with what they're there for, right? 84%. So 84% are saying, I want to know something about you related to me. So look, I'm not saying make the 15 companies you have on your notes, I'm not saying make a different resume for all of them, but definitely do your research and try to cover all the points for all of them and be able to show them the different things that you have that you know that company wants. Hey, if you got 3 companies that you know are you, then maybe you should tailor 3 resumes. Have a separate folder for those 3 companies and show them that you care that much and you did that. Hey guys, you can even apply on in advance if you want in some cases, just to show how badly you want the job. So guys, Procter & Gamble, objective, relevant experience, and extracurricular activities, especially those activities where students have held leadership positions. I want to define that. It doesn't mean you like basket weaving and long walks on the beach. What they mean is, what are the things you've been doing here at A&T and in your community to give back through our Preeminence 2020 that we're very proud of. So guys, making sure that if I'm in a club, at some point I'm stepping up. Everybody can come and sit and listen to Dan talk at your club for an hour, or your organization. But if you stepped up to be the treasurer, it shows that you're a leader, and you're doing that while maintaining a 3.2, working part-time at a place like a Subway or Hardee's. And by the way, I'm in one of the hardest programs at A&T, and I'm proud of it, right? So guys, sell it. When we're looking at this company here, work experience or project work that shows they have an understanding of the position requirements. Also, any type of leadership. That's the second one that I was able to get on the slideshow that's emphasizing leadership. Almost every answer, by the way, to this question said something about leadership and showing how you're a leader. So guys, as a common denominator, they want to know what experience matters to me, what training matters to me, and then show me leadership stuff and things that you do to give back to your community. For those of you that are watching, everybody in the room has a career development guide. If you haven't got one, we'll give it to you on the way out. There are 4 pages in this guide. You can get to it on our website. Just go to our Office of Career Services website, click on Students, and then Career Development Guide, and you guys will be able to see the PDF version of this guide that our students here have in person. 4 pages just devoted to resumes, 4 pages devoted to interviewing. If you guys want to know how to dress, we've got a page in there that shows both men and women and how professional dress should look for this event. So guys, make sure that if you get a chance, you can go to this. We also will talk about here in a second a resume drive we have coming up. We have a resume drive the 12th through the 16th. So that's next week, Monday through Friday. We have morning session from 9 to 11:45, afternoon session from 2 to 4. For the folks in the room, we have plenty of engineering companies, and for the folks watching from your computers, we have every major you can imagine represented. So guys, please, this is an opportunity to sit down for 15 minutes with an actual recruiter, and they can tear up your resume or say it's amazing. I don't care either way because you're telling me what's good about it before the career fair. So forget a faculty member, forget Dan Green and Office of Career Services. Come and actually meet the recruiters the 12th through the 16th. I'll send you lots of job stalker emails like I did for this one as well. All right, so guys, make sure you come to that event. Do you have a question?
Yeah, about the professional dress.
Yeah.
So is it better to go with a conservative white shirt and everything for the career fair, or would it be better to wear like an off color to help make you stand out, more memorable for when you speak to recruiters?
I think it's a good question. I'm not exactly the fashion guru. Actually, I'm made fun of because I wear too much white and boring ties that go with the white. The philosophy, whether it's an interview or career fair, guys, I don't need to look super amazing, although I think they all look great. I don't need to wear something that they're going to remember. So the green suit with pink polka dots, although theoretically is not a problem, the problem is that while you're talking to me, the only thing I remember is your awesome green suit and your purple polka dots and that confidence to wear that suit, right? And what do you think about Dan Grigg for this open journalism position? I don't know, his suit was awesome. All right, and I tell people that, you know, 10 years ago, tattoos, I remember when I was a kid, tattoos was it. You got a tattoo, your life was over. You got a piercing, it's all over for you. Look, guys, they're not as conservative as they used to be. There are a lot of companies that don't work with tattoos in certain ways. Problem I have with the tattoos is if I've got Wolverine on my arm here or something right here on my forehead, again, I'm staring at Wolverine when I should be focusing on what you're saying in your responses. So to answer that question, you know, you can't go wrong with a white shirt. Just make sure that stuff matches. You know, I wouldn't wear like a purple shirt. You know, I wouldn't wear anything bright is my point. Because it's kind of distracting my attention. I think like a light blue or a white, maybe even a very light pinstripe shirt would be fine. Okay. There was a guy in one of my workshops, and I used an example of lobster shirts. And I had no idea, and at the very end of the session, he comes up to me and he like pulls up his sweater and he had this awesome lobster button-down shirt. And I'm like, that's so great. Look, I love the lobster shirts. I think they're great. Again, I'm going to keep looking at your lobster shirt when I should be looking at you and listening to you. So guys, keep it conservative. These are some really good examples of students that have attended our career fairs in the past. You know, here, this gentleman has a shirt where he does have the checks, but it all goes really well. Guys, someone asked earlier about like a light gray suit. This is an example where a light gray suit isn't bad. You know, a dark blue suit, a dark gray suit. We've got a dark black suit. Remember, for ladies, guys, you guys can wear pants or a skirt or a dress. You don't have to wear a skirt. I get that question a lot. Do I have to wear like a skirt style dress? Absolutely not. This is a great example of a very professional, 2 examples of pantsuits that you guys can wear. Again, I'm not the fashion guru, but jewelry for guys and gals. I mean, just keep it very conservative. Again, you don't want my attention focused on it. So people are like, "What's the problem with big hoops?" Well, I'm looking at the big hoops moving around, right? And they're, you know, I'm like big hoops, and you know, I have very, 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 very low attention span. So like when I go to people with very creative offices, they're talking, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, look at that, and look at that." So guys, that's why I'm not a recruiter as well. You're finding out all the things I can be in life. So guys, 97% of all respondents, and I can tell you who the one was that doesn't care. 97% of all respondents said, "You better look good when you come to my table." That's that in a nutshell. Guys like Amazon, for example, they'll actually tell you to come to an interview not dressed like this. When in Rome, if they tell you, you do what they say. But in reality, when 97% of most people come and say, "I want you in a suit," or "I want you to look professional," guys, just look professional. Here's the thing, if Amazon likes you to be toned down, let them know that you're comfortable being toned down and you have no problem going to an interview not wearing the suit. But you wanted to come out today and impress them and some of the other companies that were available. Again, I do not base my life's decisions on exceptions to the rule, right? So, guys, the only thing you control at this career fair in an interview is this right here, how you look. So, I tell the story all the time, had an interview for JobLink back in Charleston, and I was too lazy in the morning to do this. Like, simply just put the jacket on. And I'll never forget, they were doing like interviews every 30 minutes. I got there super early because I had to drive 2 hours to go to the interview. So I'm sitting there, and competition after competition, both guys and gals were coming out, jackets, full suits. And man, I was terrified because the whole interview, what they do in an interview, if you haven't experienced it, is they do the awkward pause, is what they call it. So they do the 5 seconds where they ask you a question and you're like, "I nailed it." And then everyone in the room goes, and they do it on purpose because they want you to be like Dan from New Jersey and go, "Well, I also had a job back in high school where they want you to keep talking, right?" And they did the awkward pause, and I knew what they were doing, but the whole time when they were doing the awkward pause, I was going, "I should have worn the jacket. I should have worn the jacket." They're staring at I don't have the jacket on. I'm all sweating and stuff, and I'm like, "I should have had the jacket on." Oh, because I was too lazy to go like this. It was literally just laziness. I'm like, "I hate this jacket. I'm not doing that." And I ended up getting the job, so I guess that wasn't the best example. But guys, it was horrible. And I had a student earlier ask me, "Should I dress professional?" Here's the thing: everybody in front of you is going to be dressed professional. And you're standing in line, and you really want this company, and everyone in front of you has a suit on but you. How's that going to make you feel? How's that going to boost your confidence? So, guys, that is, again, Career Fairs in a nutshell. That is our Twitter handle for our office. So if you guys want to jump on the social medias, we have all that jazz there, including the old school Facebook page. Guys, we'll be posting updates on the career fair, things that come with that as well. And then last but not least, again, resume drive, you got to come. It's going to be the 12th through the 16th. We have plenty of employers, so it will move quickly. If you guys need an appointment, at this point, we're kind of out of appointments, at least for resumes, because of the resume drive. But if you'd like, don't hesitate to call our office. I know it's very 1986, but they have access to everyone's calendar. So when you call, if Dan's busy, then they'll just put you on somebody else's calendar. You're not having to call these different career counselors to get an appointment. Don't forget our walk-in resume hours. This week, we have staff looking at resumes with no appointments. So if you guys want same exact times as the resume drive, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 11:45 or 2 to 3:30, okay? Guys, we were taking you guys a picture. Okay. So what questions do you guys have? I know I'm talking a lot with my broken up, sick voice. I'm not sick anymore, I promise. Don't be scared of me. I'm going to pull this up too. Yes, sir. Can I
So earlier you mentioned the whole awkward pause that they do during interviews. What's the correct way to approach that? So if you quit talking and then you kind of do that awkward pause, what should you do? Should you continue talking, or should you just wait for them to ask you another question? Or yeah,
exactly what I'm doing.
Just stare at him.
You know, look at your notes for a minute when it gets a little too awkward. And
and just allow them to start back up. Trust me, after a minute, it's going to be awkward for them. Not a minute. After 5 seconds, it will be awkward for them as well. I told you it was going to fall. It will be awkward for them as well, guys. So, that's what I always tell students. The key to a good interview is the notebook. I know it sounds really cheesy. I just did interviews the other day here at A&T, and not one applicant had a notebook. And when we'd ask them tough questions, they would do exactly this. Oh man, I'm a little nervous. Can I just have a second? We go, yeah, of course. And they go, if I were an engineer, what kind of engineer would I be? And they're kind of looking up in the sky, they're looking down at the ground, or people will do it back to you. They'll do the awkward, if I could be an engineer, what kind of engineer would it be? And they always do it to me, and I'm like, please stop looking at me. Like, bring a notebook. So when I ask you a tough question, you can say, hey, that's a great question. Can I have just a moment to write it down? Remember, you're cheating like crazy in an interview. Your 1 page in a career fair is now 4 pages, right? And you got to be able to get to, and it's okay to say, hey, can I have just a moment? That's a good question. I'm a little bit nervous. Can I just take a moment to look at my notes? You flip it over, take a deep breath, take 10, 15 seconds. I always do write it down. Can I have a minute? Can I write that down? On the interview committee it was a 3-part question. Not one person had a notebook to write that 3-part question down. In an interview for a real position, guys, I'm going to expect you, I'll ask you a 6-part question, and I'll say it twice, and I expect you to write it down to see if you came prepared and you're ambitious. Here's the thing, if you're not, what happens when we hire you for training and you go, oh, I've got it all right here. Do you?
No.
Because you don't, and I'm going to give it to you in a way where it's going to be hard, and you're going to be that person asking him or her if I can borrow a notebook or piece of paper and a pen, right? So guys, make sure that you bring a notebook, and that's great, because at that point, if they're making you nervous, you go, I don't care what to do, but you got a problem.
Throw it back
to
at
help
them.
you with it. What'd you say?
Just throw it back at them.
So guys, you can come to our main page here, ncat.edu. The easiest way is probably just type in career services here and come to our homepage, right? Really, it's just ncat.edu/career services. So if you're okay with that, guys, we made it super easy for you to find, then I'll answer the rest of the questions. Here in the green, we have employers. Ignore that, okay? We've had a few people go to that and think they have to pay to come to the career fair. You guys do not have to pay. You do not have to pre-register. You just show up and do your best, okay? What I want you guys to do when you get home is click Students, Spring Career Fair. We've got lots of great resources on here. There's resume for those of you that are worried about your resume. Before you come to Resume Drive, lots of great stuff. You're going to click List of Participating Employers, and it has exactly who's coming. So guys, you can do by majors. Where's my computer science person? I promise you I will do this since I tortured you the whole session. Let's click. Oh no, went away.
You've been pointing at me the whole time for computer science, but it's the guy next to me.
Oh man, I failed. I'm sorry. That's okay. Well, we're gonna look at computer science because I didn't even acknowledge his existence. I'm a monster.
They're the same thing.
All right, so I can put in computer science, hit search, and you got wow. Okay, so you're right. 91 companies. So that's a really nice number to see. I got 91 of 176 companies that want me. That's a really good feeling. What I would do is probably filter some of these out. So I'd scroll through, and to save a little bit of time, if I have that many majors recruiting me, and maybe just look at the ones that specifically clicked computer science rather than all majors. But guys, this is a great way to look it up. Now, for those of you, I know everyone here is engineering or something STEM related, so folks watching at a distance, remember guys, it says all majors and it's Amazon. So my job is to go to Amazon's website, look at open internships, look at open positions, and evaluate those positions and try to come up with a pitch on what I have that matters to them, right? And that's an opportunity for you guys to do that. There's absolutely no reason you guys should not know what my company does when you come to this career fair. Now, if you miss me, remember, there's this thing called technology. You guys are in line, and my buddy says, remember, I'm not talking to my buddy, but now my buddy says, hey, Dan's Auto Mart over there is looking for mechanical engineers, believe it or not, and they're paying more than anybody here. Guys, when I jump in line, pull it up really quick and look up Dan's Auto Mart, right? And at least know something about me before you come up. We also have a computer lab. If you guys need to print something, you guys need to look something up last minute, when you check in, let us know where you checked in, and we'll direct you to the computer lab. We'll make sure you get anything you need done, okay? That is a very underutilized service that we provide at every career fair, and we probably got to do a better job to let you guys know it exists. You had your hand up. I'm sorry.
My name is Yasmin. I'm a computer science and math major. Well, my major is computer science. I minor in math. I have a question about during the career fair. Is it okay to ask a recruiter what questions are usually asked during the interview process?
Why can't you be bold enough to do it? I would.
Uh,
So if
Okay.
you could say, you know, you're a corporate recruiter that probably participates in a lot of interviews for programmers, correct? Well, yeah, actually we do. Blah 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 blah. Great. You know, you had mentioned that I don't qualify just now because I have to be a junior and I'm a sophomore. Can you give me some advice on how I can prepare so that next year I'd be ready for the interview when that time comes? You got to find a way to phrase it in a way that
Okay.
makes them comfortable. Thank you for bringing that up. For those of you watching that's a freshman, you should be at this event just like a senior should. Just like a sophomore or junior looking for an internship, this is an opportunity to get a business card. Remember, you might not be my money now, but you're going to be my money in 2 years. I want to keep in touch with you because I want my bonus now and I want my bonus in 2 years, right? So, guys, use this as an opportunity to network with these folks, get their business cards. Again, a great offshoot of that question, you have the opportunity to ask me something and say, hey, you're a recruiter. Can you give me some advice really quick? I know you have a lot of folks in line. I just have one quick question. Can you take a look at this resume? If I were to apply for your position today, what am I missing that I need for next time around? Hey, if I talk to you and say you're just not the right fit, hey, I know you're busy. Can you give me 1 second? Maybe you can give me a little advice on how I could maybe improve. We had a company do it at the last career fair. A student came in and he gave him a whole page after the fact of what he wanted done to the resume. We did it together. Interview on the phone setup, right? This is an opportunity to ask me. It is not cheesy. It is not an eye-rolling moment where people say this stuff happens. It doesn't happen because no one asks. So, hey, what's the worst I can say? It's I can't tell you that. Okay. Figured I'd ask. Thank you. Right? And then they can tell you because that's where I learned that with the programmers, they do that god-awful. We're going to start it, and then you finish it. And I don't even understand any of that. I mean, a technical interview is just that. It's technical, and they can kind of give you some ideas. Especially if I know I'm going to interview you, they're going to give you a couple tips on how to prepare if you ask. So, yes, sir, in the back.
So I'll be quick because I have an appointment. First of all, I'm an exchange student, so I don't have a GPA, as you were talking about before. There's 3 point whatever. I just don't have it. What should I do about it?
Definitely. So the career fair is super important for you because you got to find out how to get past that, and they'll tell you what that process will be per company on how you can get past that. At this point, without the GPA, you're almost required to come to this career fair, right? So that you can ask that question. But that is a perfect example of asking a question that a human being will never answer a phone to answer for you. So I hope that helps. And if you've come from another school, you could consider using that GPA and just emphasizing that was your GPA there. So that's the only GPA we can go off of right now.
Okay.
And working from that. Technically, if you haven't taken any classes, then
Well, I was here last semester,
okay.
but I'm not sure if you already have a GPA for being here one semester.
Yeah, you go with Aggie Access.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's my second semester. I'm a transfer student. Yeah.
Okay.
You can
fine.
talk about that. Say my GPA is competitive. I can talk about, hey, but look at what I did at the other schools. This is a tough transition. Doing great now. And these are the grades I had before, and I plan on having those again this semester.
About the online applications you were talking about before. So is it convenient to do the online application before going to the career fair, or should we wait until they tell us to do the online application?
That's a great question. So in the past, I've encouraged folks to do them in advance. The problem is that sometimes I want you to put something special, like in a category for me to find you. Like, how did you hear about this? You're going to type in A&T Career Fair. And that's how I pull the people that I'm looking for. Some companies say they like the ambition and motivation. Some say I want to kind of tell them what I want them to do with that online application. To be safe, I would say, hey, I got to the online application. I wanted to fill it out. I can do that very quickly because I'm interested, but I wanted to make sure there wasn't anything special that you encouraged me to do before I applied online. So at least show them that you've gotten to that point. Plus, it might not hurt to look it over and say, so I'm going to go apply, but on page 5 of your online application, I'm pretty confused by this. Any recommendations on how I fill that out? Or you said I've got to have an official transcript. What does that mean? How quickly do you need it? That kind of stuff. So it can't hurt. I had a student right before this, and he kind of broke my heart a little bit because he's like, man, I'm working so hard. I'm just trying to get a good GPA. I'm trying to be involved. And now you're telling me to do all this stuff to find a job. Guys, it's time consuming, but if you want that right position, like Microsoft, for example, you get some really big name companies, and for me to stand out, I gotta stand out, right? So
Yeah, I would at least go to the online app and see if you have any questions. Every app you're gonna have a question. What's the GPA issue? But you should make sure you run your unofficial transcript. What is it, Aggie
Link.
Aggie Access? Run your unofficial, and there should be a GPA on there. If not, then we can have that conversation with them. Maybe bring it to show them you don't have a GPA yet and that you're not lying.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Yes.
I
Yes.
have a question about the weakness. What's like your weakness? Like, I hate that question. I think everybody hates that question. But how can we like give a good answer? Like, I know a friend told me that works in Wall Street right now. He told me that you have to like, you could mention what you're working on, I guess, and the weakness is, instead of saying my weakness is this, he said something along the lines, I have to like say, I'm working on this, or how to get around something. Like, how can I, turn that question to, how can I give a good answer to that question?
So, Mr. Grigg, tell us today, what is one of your weaknesses that you're currently working on? Well, over the last couple of years, I've had some issues with organizational issues. But working for the last two companies, I've really embraced some of the technology training that my companies have offered me. Now, every day when I start my workday, I start with a good old-fashioned to-do list. And I prioritize the things I know I have to get done today to make sure that I'm on line with meeting my goals. In addition, referring to technology, now I program my Microsoft Outlook and I get alerts on my phone that tell me when I need to step off of a task to make sure that I'm focusing on another task and I'm meeting my goals. Look, I get that organization is an important part of this engineering program, and these are just a couple things I do to work on it every day. It's okay. They get it. Like, they're messy, they're unorganized, they're procrastinators. But if you just say I'm a procrastinator, or like I said earlier, I hate people to be a nurse, I'm just gonna go. People do that a lot. They get nervous. And it's not that you just go, I'm not good, I'm not organized. I'm gonna go, okay, and then I'm gonna move on, and that pitch is gone. Some employers will be really nice and go, and what are you doing to work on that? But honestly, guys, I have a list of 10 questions that legally I'm supposed to ask everybody and not deviate from. So if you don't give me what are you working on, I just assume you're unorganized, and then we have a problem. So immediately say give examples of what you're doing to work on it. Give examples of everything.
Okay.
It's so boring. Has anybody had to interview someone? It's horrible. Oh, it's horrible. If they're not good, it's awful. And it's not because it's them. It's because you've got 3 deadlines and you've got your own work to do, and someone pulls you out because they think you have a good judge of character, and that's nice. But I got deadlines. And I'm a human being, and you got me on 8 interviews where I'm asking the same 10 questions. Guys, it's not that because they're bad I'm making fun of them. It's because I'm a human being, and when you start to bore me, I immediately go to my happy place on what I'm doing Saturday, what I'm doing after work, or terror. This person is boring me, and I'm not getting my work done, and I'm going to get in trouble for it, right? So, guys, always give them an example. Like, if you say you're hardworking and dependable and loyal, then give me examples of how you're hardworking, dependable, and loyal. Guys, while we're answering questions, it is getting late. I'm sorry, guys. Make sure you fill out those surveys for me if you don't mind. For folks that are watching at a distance right now, please, please, please email me. My email is djgrigg, that's djgrigg, @ncat.edu. Email me with your Aggie email address that you attended the session. I'll put it on your file and give you credit, and I'll send you an online survey for you guys to fill out. So, thank you. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions?
I have a question. So, I did have an interview for the last career fair, and during that interview, they would ask me for specific examples of like times where I like led a group, or times where something messed up and how to pick it back up. And for those answers, I felt like I kind of dragged it on a little too long. Like, how long do you think those responses should be?
So what you asked is it's called the STAR model. So you answer to control yourself. The situation was this. The action I took to fix it was this. The result of my action was this. It comes off a little bit robotic, but they understand what you're doing, and you're telling them a story in a way that they can comprehend. Again, primarily because they're a human being, and when you run on, you lose me. Don't give an answer when you have to explain stuff. Well, you're probably not familiar with that technology, so before I tell you the story, let me fill you in on what that technology does. Once you start to go on side stories, you lose me. So that's why it's good to say, hey, the situation was this. They were really upset. I was in a group. Unfortunately, I was assigned to a group where I had some folks that weren't willing to produce
and help us get the grade that we needed to pass this class. The action I took is I stepped up to be the leader. You know, I sent out a couple emails. I brought those students to my a place that we were all comfortable with, and I just allowed them to just throw their ideas out there because that's the way they worked. I was able to compile those ideas, and the result of that compilation was we presented a PowerPoint that led to an A, where originally we were probably going to fail because they weren't excited about the assignment and didn't want to do anything. That's simple. Nobody needs to know what the assignment was. No one needs to know the details of it. So it's called behavioral interviewing, and I hate it. It is, because you just want to say, tell me a time you were asked to work under pressure, and how did you handle it? And all you want to say is, well, I know how to work under pressure. I work well. Right? But I don't want that. I want a story, and I want you to tell me a story. Because here's the thing, if you panic with a story, then what happens when you're in a situation where someone could be getting hurt manufacturing a product, or I have a deadline that's coming quick and I need you to be available? These are things that you got to be able to prove to me you can do. So think about a couple stories. Time you stepped up to be a leader, what happened? Time you messed up, what'd you learn from it? Whether they asked for that or not, you tell them what you learned from it. A time you were asked to work under pressure, what happened? A time you didn't meet a deadline, and again, what you learned from it, whether they ask you for it or not. Start thinking about these things. They're also going to do situational. When they do situational, so my computer science person, they do situational a lot. You mentioned again that you're proficient or skilled in the use of this. This is your task. Using that software, tell me step by step, what would you do to solve that problem, right? And they'll do that to all of you guys in different scenarios. So that's an opportunity to write the question down and take a couple quick notes before you answer. We had a tech company come last April, and they said that when they are doing a tech interview, they're not looking at whether or not you get the answer for the whiteboard so much as they're looking at how you break down the question. So even if you hit a hurdle, they want you to speak out loud in a professional, comfortable way, option A, B, and C, and how you would move forward based on your methodology, right? Or methodology. So, guys, it's not always about the answer, it's about how you get to the answer as well. So, I'm not a tech guy.
Yeah, you know, really good at what you're doing now.
You got what? Thank you. I'm sorry again to make a job fair prep workshop the night after the Super Bowl.
It's back to normal. It's not a holiday no more.
Did anybody bring leftover chicken wings for me? Thank you guys so much. Everybody have a great night. Again, for those of you watching from home, please don't forget to email me so I can give you credit for attending this session, okay? Thank you guys. Y'all have a good night.
Credit?
Sometimes you get like later in the semester, a teacher will be like, hey, I'll give you credit if you go to like a career workshop. If you've already been to one, I can pull it up and prove that you were there kind of thing. And then that kind of saves you from having to credit.
I'm sorry. Oh, you're fine. Why don't you just get extra credit for coming down?
Parish.
Chill up.
Bro, why is it hard like that?
Wait, is this the live camera right there?
I don't know.
I think it's that one.
Is it?
I think there's multiple live cameras. I should be like, hey, what's good? It's nice.
Like,
There's no cameras right there.
Yo, stop.
I don't know.
He said, add me on Snap.
Add me on Snap.
Add me on Snap. You already know. Let's go.
For you especially.